welcome back to Diksha Karnataka YouTube channel, and you are watching your favorite series Sankalp KCET 2026. So if you are someone who is studying for KCET 2026 exam, then definitely Sankalp series is a must watch. Share this video with your friends, and if you are watching this video for the first time, then definitely subscribe to our channel, join our WhatsApp channel. The link of the WhatsApp channel is given in the description and the subscribe button is there, so click on the subscribe button so that you get all the updates, all the chapter lectures from our channel absolutely free. And today we are going to discuss ray optics and optical instrument JEE PYQs. I have already completed the chapter in 4 parts as well as KCET PYQs. Now it is time for the JEE PYQs from the chapter. I have handpicked the question which are going to be very important, not only for JEE preparation, but if you are preparing for KCET. In the history I have seen that there are questions which come from JEE to KCET. It is very common, and those type of questions are handpicked for this session today. And also, if you are following our channel, then you should know that we have produced ranks in the last year's KCET and rank year before that, and here is the result from the last year KCET batch, and they have studied exclusively from our YouTube channel. And here may be your picture along with your name in next year when we are doing it. You can come to our office and meet us if you perform well in the KCET. For that, you have to first task is to subscribe to our channel, join the WhatsApp channel as well, and definitely watch all the videos in detail. Post your questions, post your queries in the comment section of this video so that we can get an idea where you are missing out. Now let's start with the KCET JEE PYQs. This is 7th April shift 2 2025. So April shift question: a mirror is used to produce an image with magnification 1/4 of the distance between the object and its image is 40 centimeter. Then the focal length of the mirror is. So first of all, magnification is given 1/4. Right, so magnification is 1/4, and the distance between magnification is 1/4, and the distance between the object and the image is 40 centimeters. So both are given. So what is magnification for a mirror in terms of only magnitude? If you consider the magnitude, we know that V by U is the magnification, which is given by 1/4. Right. So from here we can we get that U equals to 4V. U equals to 4V, and what else? It is also given that U plus V equals to 40 centimeter. Here also no sign comes because U and V, it is total distance between the object and image, so we do not need to use sign over here. So this is the U plus V is 40. So let's put the value of U, which is 4V plus V equals to 40, or 5V equals to 40, or V equals to 8 centimeter. So V is 8 centimeter. What will be the value of U? U will be 4 into 8, that is 32 centimeter. Right. Now, so U we have calculated, V we have calculated. Now we will use the mirror equation. What is mirror equation? 1 by V plus 1 by U equals to 1 by F. Right. We are trying to find the focal length of the mirror. Now in this case we have to put the sign. Right. So V is generally the type of mirror is not mentioned, but from the magnification we generally guess that it is a convex mirror, so image is virtual. Also U plus V, distance between U plus V means obviously it's a virtual image. So convex mirror, so this is the object, image formed somewhere here. So this is U and this is V. Right. So V is positive, U is negative. Now here we have to use the sign convention. So V is 8. So 1 by 8 minus U is 32, so 1 by 32 equals to 1 by F. As simple as that. So 1 by F equals to, LCM is 32, 4 minus 1, that will be 3 by 32. So F equals to 32 by 3, which will be 10 point something. 10 point something is the answer. So correct answer is 10.7 centimeter, not 10 centimeter, it will be 10 point something and very close to 11 in fact, because there is a 2. So if you actually calculate it, it will be 10.66. Okay, so correct answer will be 10.7 centimeter, not 10 centimeter. Okay, if it is a KCET question, the same question might come in KCET. The options will be given such a way that you can guess without doing the exact detailed calculation. That is the basic difference between JEE and KCET. Options in JEE are very close, whereas in KCET they give the option so that you don't need to do a lot of heavy calculations. After calculating the values, you can get the answer even without just figuring out the magnitude. That is the difference between KCET and JEE. So if you are someone who is struggling with JEE, don't worry, your first priority should be KCET, second priority should be JEE. JEE should not be your first priority if you are struggling with the solving this type of question. But if you are good with mathematics, good with calculation, then definitely JEE should be your first priority, KCET should be your backup. It is very, very important to have a backup ready for your all preparation. Any exam if you are preparing for NEET or KCET or JEE, there should be one primary exam and there should be one backup option. Okay, based on your, you can judge yourself better, right? Try to solve these questions on your own and see where you stand and what is your level, because you have to solve the questions quickly, right? Two identical objects are placed in front of convex mirror and concave mirror having same radii of curvature 12 centimeter at the same distance 18 centimeter from the respective mirrors. The ratio of the sizes of the images formed by the convex mirror and the concave mirror is. So let's see the question first. We have a concave mirror and a convex mirror. Both mirrors, so this is the object distance is 18 centimeter. Okay, same object is placed, and in this case radius of curvature is 12. This is also 12, right? So what is focal length? So radius of curvature is 12, means focal length is half of that, so it will be 6 centimeter. Here plus here it will be focal length will be minus 6 centimeter. Okay, u is same for both cases. Now what we will do, first we will not solve for v immediately. What we will do, we will write down the mirror equation, normal mirror equation, 1 by v plus 1 by u equals to 1 by f. Now if you see that u is given, f is given, v is not given. So we will try to find the value of v mathematically first without using any sign or any values. Okay, so from here we can see that it will be uf, u minus f. So this is v, so v equals to u f by u minus f. Okay, now what is the magnification? Magnification is given by v by u, that is from this equation we can say it is nothing but f by u minus f, right? So if you divide v by u, so one u will be cancelled, so f by u minus f is the magnification. This is the normal expression for magnification in terms of focal length and u. This equation you have to derive from question to question, problem to problem. Now what we will do, now we will find the, first we will find for m for convex lens. Okay, for vex I am using vex, that is convex lens. Okay, what is the focal length? Now let us see, u is minus for both cases, f is positive in this case. So we will use, there is a negative sign as well, so negative sign will be there, so we have to put that negative sign as well. So what is vex? And if you see the ratio of the size image formed by vex by cave, so convex is first, concave is second. So first we will find the magnification due to convex lens. So what is the magnification due to convex lens? Minus focal length is given by 6 plus 6, u is minus and 18, and this is minus 6. Okay, minus f, so minus 6. So what will be the value? 6 by 24. Okay, so minus minus will cancel. If you take this minus common, okay, if you take this minus common, it will be plus, right? Minus minus will be cancelled and you will get this answer. So it will be 1 by 4. So vex is 1 by 4. Now what is concave? Again same equation. What we will do, we will put the values again. Now in this case f is negative minus 6, so we will put the value minus 6 divided by u is again minus 18, but in this case it will be plus. Okay, so plus 6 minus 18, so this minus and this minus will be cancelled. You get 6 by minus 12 or minus half. Okay. Now in this question, the ratio of the size of the images, if you see the option sign is not there, so we will take the magnitude of this. So magnitude means only half we will take, not the negative sign. So what is the m vex by m cave? Okay. So it will be 1 by 4 divided by 1 by 2, that is 2 by 4, that is half. So the ratio of the size of the images is half. So option A is correct answer for this question. This is also very relevant question. Now some teacher will ask you to remember this, but if you try to remember this, there will be 100 of different formulas. So better you derive it based on the question, based on the problem. It is just 1 minute extra problem, maybe as the JEE questions are little difficult and you get extra time, so you can solve this particular derivation and then find the magnification. Next, distance between an object and its image is magnified by minus 1/3 is 30 centimeter. Again similar question. So u plus v is given as 30 centimeter. Okay. A magnification is given by 1/3. So magnification is generally negative. So minus v by u equals to minus 1/3. This is given, right? So minus cancels, you get u equals to 3v. U equals to 3v. Put that value over here. So 3v plus v equals to 30, or v equals to 30 by 4. So v is equal to 30 by 4 means u will be 3 into 30 by 4, that is 90 by 4. Okay. So we calculated u and v. Now it is said that the focal length of the mirror used is x by 4 centimeter, where the magnitude of x is. So you have to find the magnitude of x. Now remember that x is given by like x by 4. So there will be a 4 factor that you have to ignore it, right? Let's see. So what is the equation? 1 by v plus 1 by u equals to 1 by f. Now v is positive, 30 by 4, so 1 by 30 by 4 plus 1 by minus 90 by 4 equals to 1 by f. Okay. So it will be 4 by 30 minus 4 by 90 equals to 1 by f. Okay. Now let's see, 4 will be common and you get LCM to be 90, 3 3s are 90 minus 1 equals to 1 by f. So you get this as 4 into 2 by 90 equals to 1 by f. Now remember you have to find f, so take the reciprocal and you will get, you cancel this 1 by 45. This was in the numerator, so it will be denominator now, and 45 will be up. So value of x is 45. So x is 45, right? So it will be 45, right? Not super difficult. If you follow step by step method, you can solve. And this type of question is very common in JEE, as you can see. This type of question comes repeatedly year after year. Now let's see next question. A container contains a liquid with refractive index of 1.2 up to a height of 60 centimeter, and another liquid having refractive index 1.6 is added to height each above first the liquid. If viewed from the above, the apparent shift in the position of the bottom of the container is 40 centimeter. Okay, viewed from the above, the container appears to be 40 centimeter. Okay, so the value of h is. So let's see what is the question talks about. We have a container. Okay. First what we have done, we have filled the container to a height of 60 centimeter, okay, and the refractive index is 1.2. Now we have fixed, next we have filled with the another liquid of refractive index 1.6, and in this case the height of the liquid is unknown. Okay, height of the liquid is unknown. So this is say h, and when you see from the top, the bottom appears to be somewhere here, which is 40 centimeter. Okay, 40 centimeter from the top. So what is the shift? So apparent shift, what is the apparent shift from the bottom? So apparent shift from the bottom will be 60 plus h minus 40. This is the apparent shift. This is the movement, right? So this much it is moved. So from what is the formula to calculate the shift? It will be the depth of the liquid divided by its refractive index, that gives the this shift, total shift for the first liquid, plus h by 1.6 will give the shift due to the second liquid. Okay, and that is given by equals to 60 plus h minus 40, right. So this is the shift due to the first liquid. So always remember this formula, that the depth of the liquid divided by the refractive index gives the shift, this shift. Okay, from the top, when you are seeing from the top 40 centimeter means actual shift is this. This is very, very important. This is the actual shift, right. From the top you are seeing 40 centimeter means this is the this is the actual height, right. Now let's put that value. So it will be 50 plus h by 1.6. Why 50? 5 12s are 60. So there is one decimal. So that means 50 times 1.2 will be 60. Okay, that's how you can cancel it. So 1.6. So this will be h plus 20. Now all the h terms will be on the same side. Okay, so 50 minus 20 will be equals to h minus h by 1.6. Okay, now simplify this. Let me write it over here. So h is common, 1 minus 1 by 1.6 equals to 30, right. 50 minus 20 is 30. So you will get h divided by 1.6, 1.6 minus 1 equals to 30, or h equals to 30 into 1.6 divided by 0.6, right. This is 1 minus 1.6, this is 0.6. So 0.6 will come in division, 1.6 will be multiplied, decimal goes away, 5 6 are 30, and 5 16s are 80. So 80 centimeter is the height of the liquid. So value of h is 80 centimeter, right. This is the answer. Fill in the blanks type question. Next question, what is the lateral shift of a ray refracted through a parallel sided glass slab of thickness h in terms of the angle of incidence I and angle of refraction r if the glass slab is placed in air medium? Now this is a derivation type question. You can remember the answer formula or actually derive it. For derivation I will take the help of this diagram. This diagram is not provided with the question, but if you are deriving it, this kind of diagram is very, very important, or you can remember the formula as well. So I will show you how to remember it. If you do the derivation on your own once, then it is helpful for you to remember. This is very, very important. Otherwise you will not be able to remember the solution for certain questions. Derivation, even if there is a formula based question, it's a just direct formula, you have to derive it at least once on your own so that you remember it. Now let's see. So here is the ray which is falling at an angle of incidence I, and after refraction it is going out of the glass slab. This is glass slab, as you can see, and this is the lateral shift. This is the lateral shift. Okay. Now this is the lateral shift. Now this is the height h. This is the height of the glass slab or depth of the thickness of the glass slab, right? This is h. Now what you have to do first, this angle is I, this angle is r. Okay, you are not going to use the refractive index here. Refractive index, they have not mentioned refractive index, so you are not going to use it. Now this is the continuation of this line. This is the continuation of this line, means this angle I means this entire angle will also be I, opposite angle, right? So opposite angles are equal, so that means this entire angle is I. Now this entire angle is I means this small angle will be I minus r, right? This will be I minus r, right? Now these two triangles, this is triangle 1, this triangle 2, these two triangles are very, very important. Now this is the right angle triangle, as you can see, this is the right angle triangle. This height is h, this side is r, this angle is r. So what is the value of this hypotenuse? That is first thing. Okay. So if you see that with respect to this height, this is the adjacent angle. Adjacent angle means what? So suppose this intermediate, this is the intermediate step, this value x. Okay, this is intermediate step. So first we will calculate this hypotenuse x. So cos r is h by x. Okay, if you forget, some people have curly brown hair turned permanently black. Adjacent angle means it will always be related to cos, right? This is the adjacent angle, so it will always be related to cos, right? So cos r is h by x. So from here we can say that x equals to h by cos r. Now h value is given, known, x value is unknown. That's why we are trying to find the value of x first. Now we will move our attention towards the second triangle. This is the second triangle, this is the second triangle. Again here we have a right angle triangle, this is the right angle because this is the lateral shift, right? Now here this is the angle, okay, I minus r. This side is hypotenuse, this side is this is the opposite side of the 90 degrees, so this is the hypotenuse, and this distance we are trying to find. This is the lateral shift, we are trying to find this lateral shift t, right? Now if this is the angle, known angle, then this is the opposite angle, right? Opposite angle. So opposite, in case of opposite angle, the angle that we will consider is sin theta. So sine of this angle I minus r, sine of this angle I minus r equals to perpendicular, which is t, divided by hypotenuse. Hypotenuse is x in this case. So from here we can find the value of t. T equals to x sine I minus r. So what is the value of x? We have also calculated the value of x as well. So it will be h sine I minus r divided by cos r. So h sine I minus r divided by cos r. Okay. So what is the answer? H sine I minus r by cos r. So this is the correct answer. You can remember it as a formula for lateral shift, or you can derive it if required. Next, a hemispherical vessel is completely filled with a liquid of refractive index mu. A small coin is kept at the lowest point O of the vessel. So here we have a coin placed at O. The minimum value of the refractive index of the liquid so that a person can see the coin from point E. So if a person is seeing from point E, that means the light travels along this distance. Okay, this is the path of the light, and light travels here, and then it suffers complete internal critical angle. This angle should be the critical angle so that you can see it from E. Okay, anything more than that, it will be a total internal reflection, but this case is critical angle. So what is the critical angle? Suppose this is the angle of incidence, this is critical angle, right? I, in this case, this angle I will be critical angle, right? And if you see that this is the radius of the, this will be the radius of the bowl, and this side, this is also the radius of the bowl. Both of them will be radius of the bowl, right? And this is the right angle, this is a right angle. Okay, if this angle is I, this angle is 90 degrees, right? What will be this angle? That is the main question. If you find that out, it will be very good. This angle will be 90 degree minus I. Why? This is the normal. This is the normal, means this entire angle is 90 degree. This angle is 90 degree, this angle is also 90 degree. Out of that, this much angle is I. Okay, so this much angle I means, this angle I means the remaining angle, the internal angle will be 90 minus I. This angle will be 90 minus I. Now, in a triangle we know the value of R. So, what is the hypotenuse? Hypotenuse will be, hypotenuse in this case will be square root of R square plus R square, that is R root 2. Okay. So, isosceles right angle triangle. Isosceles right angle triangle means two sides are equal. So, hypotenuse will be R root 2. Now, let us try to find any one. Sine angle or cos angle does not matter, but we know that sine is better. Why sine is better? We know that refractive index of this medium, which is given mu in this question, okay, mu is given by 1 upon sine I, 1 upon sine I. So, let me find the value of cos 90 minus I, because cos 90 minus I is actually sine theta, right? Cos 90 minus I is sine theta. So, be intelligent and try to find this value from this triangle, So, in this triangle the angle is 90 degrees. So, adjacent side is R, hypotenuse is R root 2. From here we can write this is R by R root 2, or this will be 1 upon root 2, right. So, sine I will be 1 by root 2. So, why sine I? Because cos 90 minus theta is equals to sine theta. So, cos 90 minus theta is equals to sine theta. So, now let us put that value over here. So, from here we get mu will be equals to 1 by root 2, that is equals to root 2. So, refractive index of the medium must be root 2. So, this is the answer. Okay. Slightly tricky. If you do not know the how to solve such questions, geometry based question, drawing based question might be tricky, but mathematically not super difficult. Okay. A vessel of depth D is half filled with oil of refractive index N1 and the other half is filled with the water of refractive index N2. The apparent depth of this vessel when viewed from the top will be. So, what is the formula for apparent depth? I already showed you. So, apparent depth H is H dash will be H into first depth D1 by refractive index N1 plus D2 by refractive index N2 plus so on. Okay. Now, here only two liquids are there. So, only up to 2 is there. Now, here it is mentioned that half is filled. Half filled means D1 equals to D2 equals to D by 2. Both of them are filled half oil, half water, right. So, it will be D by 2, both of them will be D by 2, and here the depth is given by D. Okay. There is a small mistake. So, this is the apparent depth, also apparent depth, because the depth is given in terms of D, let me write it as D dash. So, this is the apparent depth of the liquid. Okay. So, D1 is D by 2 and the refractive index is given by N1 of oil and second one is of water N2. Now, you have to simplify it. This is the apparent depth. This is the formula for apparent depth. So, half will be common first and you get N1 N2. Okay. N2 D plus N1 D. Okay, again D, let us do one thing, let us take D also common. D by 2 is common in both cases, right. So, D by 2 is common, right. So, what you get from here, you get the apparent depth is given by D into N1 plus N2 divided by 2 N1 N2, right. This is the formula for apparent depth. So, you can see this is the correct answer for this question. Next, critical angle of incidence for a pair of optical media is 45 degrees. The refractive indices of the first and second media are in the ratio. So, we have a media, okay, light travelling from first media to second media, and the critical angle is given by 45 degrees. Okay, now, if second media was air, then we have a relation, right. Second media was air, then we have a relation that N1 would be 1 by sin 45, but here it is not mentioned whether it is air or not, and pair of media is given, angle is 45 degree, refractive angle is 90 degree, that much we know. So, what we will do? We will use general law of Snell's general law. What is Snell's general law? Snell's general law is N1 sin I equals to N2 sin R, right. This is the general form of Snell's law. Now, N1 value is not known. We are trying to find the ratio first to second, that is this to this, N1 by N2 we are trying to find sin 45 degrees. This is given, this angle is given, N2 will be sin 90 degree, because it is a critical angle, that means angle of refraction will be 90 degrees. Now, this is a very much possible question to come in KCET. So, sin 45 means 1 by root 2 equals to N2 into 1. So, N1 by N2 is equals to root 2. Okay, so, it will be root 2 is to 1. Root 2 is to 1. A ray of light suffers minimum deviation when incident having angle of prism equals to 60 degree. The refractive index of the prism material is root 2. The angle of incidence is. So, refractive index is given, we have to find the angle of incidence. So, what is the formula for refractive index? Refractive index is sin I by sin R when the surrounding medium is air, right. Now, in case of minimum deviation, minimum deviation, angle of the prism is equals to R plus R, that is 2R. So, from here we can say R is equals to A by 2. R is equals to A by 2, if you remember the formula, right. So, N value is given root 2, we are trying to find the value of I, sin A by 2, okay. This is the formula, right. Instead of A plus delta by 2, we are directly writing I, that is easier, okay, because we are interested in the angle of incidence, right. Now, what is the value of A is 60 degrees, so A by 2 is 30 degrees, so sin I by sin 30, okay. So, sin I equals to root 2 sin 30, cross multiply. So, what is sin 30? Sin 30 is nothing but half. So, it will be 1 by root 2. So, from here sin I equals to sin 45 degrees. So, I equals to 45 degrees. So, answer of this question is again 45 in degrees, right. 45 is the answer. Next question, a spherical surface separates two media of refractive indices 1 and 1.5. So, here you can see that we have a media, curved media, which is separating two medium, N1 is equal to 1, N2 is equal to 1.5, okay, as shown in the figure. Distance of the image of an object O, C is the center of curvature and R is the radius of curvature, okay. So, we have to find the distance of the image, So, object is placed at a distance 0.2 meter, radius of curvature is 0.4 meter, N1 is 1, N2 is 1.5. So, first we have to use the relation for curved surface, which is N2 by V minus N1 by U equals to N2 minus N1 by R, including the sign convention. Sign convention has to be applied over here, right. Now, based on the sign of V, we can say whether the image is formed on the left hand side or on the right hand side. Let us see, V sign is not known, N2 is known, N2 is 1.5. So, 1.5 by V minus 1, N1 is 1, N1 value is 1, and u is given 0.2 meter. In u is given 0.2 meter, but it will be negative. So 0.2 equals to 1.5 minus 1 divided by, now radius of curvature is on the right hand side, it will be positive, that is 0.4, it will be positive value. So from here we can get 0.5 by 0.4, okay. 1 minus 1.5 is 1.5 minus 1 is 0.5. So from here you get 5 by 4, okay, 5 by 4. Now let's simplify this again. So we get 1.5 by V plus 10 by 2, 10 by 2, okay, point decimal goes up, equals to 5 by 4, or 1.5 by V equals to 5 by 4 minus 10 by 2 equals to 4, 5 minus 20, that is 15 by 4. Okay, so V equals to 1.5 into 4, there is a negative sign, okay, okay, 5 minus 20 is minus. So now cross multiply 1.5 into 4 divided by minus 15. So you get this is as minus 0.4. Okay, so there will be a division of 10, you can cancel this, okay. So it will be minus 0.4. So minus 0.4, what is the meaning of negative sign? Negative sign means that this image is formed on the left hand side. So the image is forming on the left hand side. So 0.4 left of the spherical surface, 0.4 meter left of the spherical surface. If it was positive, then it would have been right of the spherical surface. It is the left of the spherical surface. Next, consider the following statements for refraction of light through a prism which angle of deviation is minimum. So there are few statements, and in this case angle of deviation is minimum, that you have to assume. The refracted ray inside the prism becomes parallel to the base. So in case of minimum deviation, the refractive ray becomes parallel to the base. So this is the basic fundamental that if you follow the derivation, this is the basic fundamental that we have used, that this is the main case where for minimum deviation this ray does not go randomly, it becomes parallel to the base. So this is the correct statement. Okay, this is the correct statement, but this is not the answer. Okay, if you see the options, option have multiple correct positions. So let's see what are the other correct cases. Angle of incidence and angle of emergence become larger the angle of prism provides smaller angle of minimum deviation. Okay, larger the angle of prism provide smaller the angle of minimum deviation. So what is the formula for minimum deviation? Minimum deviation is a minus 2i. Now if you see that 2i minus a. Now it might be apparent that this is also correct, but there is it also depends on the angle of incidence. So there is no direct correlation between having larger angle of prism can be small delta does not mean, because it also depends on I. So there is no direct correlation between this. So this statement may be correct, may not be correct, partially correct. Okay, in some cases it might be correct, in some cases it may not be correct. So there is no direct relation, because it is 2i minus a. Even if you increase the a, maybe the I will change accordingly and delta value may remain constant. In fact, delta value depends on the refractive index of the medium, not on the directly on the angle of prism or refractive index. Angle of incidence. Angle of incidence and angle of emergence becomes equal. So this is obviously correct statement. In case of minimum deviation, I becomes E, right. There are always two sets of angle of incidence for which deviation will be same except at minimum deviation setting. So this is also correct statement. Always two sets of graph, two sets of I and E, right. So for all position, for all delta, there will be two position of I where you will get the same deviation, except for minimum deviation. For minimum deviation, only one possible angle of incidence. Other than that, for all other points, there will be two angle of incidence where you will get the same deviation. This is delta, this is angle of incidence I. So, if you remember this graph, from this graph we know that for each point there are two possible angle of incidence where you get the same delta. So, this is also correct statement. Angle of refraction becomes double for double of prism angle. Angle of refraction does not becomes double, but it is actually A is equals to 2R. Okay. So, not other way, okay, not R is equal to 2A, right. So, it is A equals to 2R, not the other way. So, angle of refraction does not become double of the prism angle is actually double of the angle of refraction. Okay. So, only A, C and D are correct. So, option A is correct, A, C, D are correct. Next question, the refractive index of the material of a glass prism is √3. The angle of minimum deviation is equal to angle of the prism. What is the angle of the prism? So, refractive index is given, we know that refractive index is given by sin A plus delta by 2 divided by sin A by 2. Now, in the question it is mentioned that delta becomes equal to A. So, A plus delta by 2 becomes A plus A by 2, that is 2A by 2, that is A, right. But we will use this one, okay. Why we will know in a while. So, sin 2 into A by 2 by sin A by 2, right, and n value is given as √3. So, √3 equals to, now sin 2 theta formula, sin 2 theta formula, 2 into sin theta into cos theta. Now, you know why I kept this 2 outside. So, for that you can apply 2 theta formula, theta is A by 2 and 1 sin will be cancelled, that is the main reason, right. Sin A by 2 cancelled. Okay. So, you get this as 2 cos A by 2 or cos A by 2 equals to √3 by 2. Now, what is the value of √3 by 2? √3 by 2 is basically cos 30 degrees. Cos 0 is 1, cos 30 is √3 by 2. So, from here we can say A by 2 is 30 degrees or A equals to 60 degrees. Okay. So, it is the answer is 60 degrees. Now, next question, a thin prism P1 with the angle 4 degree made of glass having refractive index 1.54 is combined with another thin prism P2 made of glass having refractive index 1.72 to get a dispersion without deviation. The angle of the prism P2 in degrees is. So, first of all, for thin prisms, okay, the formula is simplified and it becomes that angle of deviation is given by mu minus 1 into A. In this particular case, A is generally expressed in radians, but particular for this problem the conversion is not required. Why? Because how to combination and recombination happens, because you put two prisms in the opposite direction. So, whatever is the minimum deviation for this prism, that cancelled by the second prism, right. So, if this prism gives you an angle of deviation delta 1, this one will also give you delta 1, but in the opposite direction, but magnitude wise both should be equals to same. Okay. Magnitude wise both deviation will be same, direction will be opposite. If this is plus, the other one will be minus, but magnitude wise, this formula wise the deviations will be same. So, because we are comparing two same things, even the conversion factor is not required, conversion factor will be cancelled anyway. So, we do not need to convert 4 degrees to radian. Okay. So, delta 1, say what is delta 1? 1.54 minus 1 into 4 degrees. Okay. As I said, the conversion is not required for this particular problem, otherwise only if you are finding delta, then do not forget to convert this into radians. Okay. So, this is delta 1. What is delta 2? Delta 2 is 1.74 minus 1 into angle of prism. We do not know this angle of prism, so we are trying to find this. So, 0.74 into A2. Now both the deviation magnitude wise should be same. So 0.54 into A that is 4 equals to 0.72 into A2. So A2 will be, now decimal can get cancelled, you get 54 into 4 divided by 72. Now we have to do some cancellations. So 227 into 2 is 54, 36 2s are 72, 4, 9, 3. So A2 will be 3 degrees. Okay, so A2 will be 3 degrees. So correct answer is option D. Next question. The refractive index of a prism with apex angle A is cot A by 2, the angle of minimum deviation. So this question has came in KCET as well. So let's see, the question mu or n is given by cot A by 2. N is cot A by 2. Okay, apex angle is A. So that means from the formula of minimum deviation, this is nothing but sine A plus delta by 2 divided by sine A by 2. That is the formula for refractive index, right? Now we will compare these two equations and simplify it. So sine A plus delta by 2 divided by sine A by 2 equals to cot A by 2. Cot means what? First is cos. So cos A by 2 divided by sine A by 2. So we can cancel them. So we get sine A plus delta by 2 is equal to cos A by 2, or sine A plus delta by 2 equals to sine 90 minus A by 2, right? So these two cancel. So cos can be written as sine 90 minus theta. Now sine can be cancelled and we can write A plus delta by 2 equals to 90 minus A by 2, or by 2 can be cancelled. So A plus delta equals to 180 degrees minus A, right, multiply by 2 both side, or delta equals to 180 degree minus 2A, right. This A will go to the other side, becomes negative. So 180 degree minus delta, this is the minimum deviation, because the formula is for minimum deviation only. So delta m you can write. Now next question. An ice cube has a bubble inside. When viewed from one side of the apparent distance of the bubble is 12 centimeter. When viewed from the opposite side, the apparent distance of the bubble is observed 4 centimeter. If the side of the ice cube is 24 centimeter, the refractive index of the cube is. So here we have a ice cube and somewhere inside there is a bubble. The side is 24 centimeter. Okay. Suppose this distance is x. Then what is this distance? This will be 24 minus s, actual distance, right. Now there is a formula for refractive index. The formula for refractive index n is given by n is equal to the actual distance divided by the apparent distance, which is 12 centimeter. From this side the apparent distance is 12 centimeter and from this side the apparent distance is 4 centimeter. Okay. So x by 12 is the refractive index. From here we can get x equals to 12n, x equals to 12n. Now same formula will apply for the other side as well. N equals to x minus 24 minus x, 24 minus x divided by the apparent distance is 4. Now we know that x is 12n, so put that value over here. So 4n equals to 24 minus 12n, or 24 equals to 12n plus 4n, that is 16n. So n will be 24 by 16. So 12 by 8 3 by 2. So, n is equals to 3 by 2. Okay. So, 3 by 2 is the answer. This is the refractive index. Next question. A slanted object AB is placed on the one side of a convex lens as shown in the diagram. The image is formed on the opposite side, angle made by the image with the principal axis is. Now, this is a very interesting question, typical JEE question. This question will not come in KCET, but if you are preparing for JEE, this is very, very important. Okay. So, this is the object, this is the convex lens, focal length is 20 centimeter, the distance is more than focal length. So, the image will be formed here and the somewhere on the right hand side, and it will look like this. Okay, it will look like this. This angle you have to calculate. Now, this angle is alpha, means this will be negative angle. Obviously, the angle will be negative, but we will try to find the magnitude and then we will put a negative sign to that. How to do that? There is a formula that you can use. The formula is slightly, I will teach you the formula as well, but there is another way. If you do not know the formula, then how to do that, because there is, it is always not always possible to remember all kind of formulas. So, let us see. First, I will what I will do, I will try to find, I will use this 30 centimeter as the base distance and find what is, where the image is formed, the image distance. For that, we will use the lens equation. 1 by V minus 1 by U equals to 1 by F. For convex lens, focal length is positive, V we do not know. So, 1 by V minus 1 by minus 30. Okay. U is 30 centimeter, U is always negative, equals to 1 by focal length is 20. So, it will be 1 by V equals to 1 by 20 minus 1 by 30. Okay, this negative cancels, it goes to the other side, becomes minus. Now, let us calculate that. 60 is the LCM and 3 minus 2. So, you will get V equals to 60 centimeter. Okay, 3 minus 2 is 1. So, 1 by 60. So, taking the inverse, we get V is equal to 60 centimeter. Okay, from here we can calculate the magnification. What is the formula for magnification? V by U. Again, we are not using the sign. For magnification, you can still ignore the sign in some cases. So, from here you get this as 2. So, this is the angle 2, right. So, the magnification is 2, right. Now, there is a formula. What is the formula? The formula is that the apparent shift, if the image is slanted, this is called the shift from the base. Okay. So, if the magnification is known, the shift can be calculated, the apparent shift in the upper half. So, upper half initially what was 1 centimeter, what will be the final distance? So, suppose the final image is like this, the final image is like this. Okay. So, this is 60 centimeter. Okay. The if this height is 2 centimeter, what will be this height? What will be this height? So, originally it was 2 centimeter high, magnification is 2. So, what is this height? This will be 2 into magnification. Okay. So, it will be 4. Now, this is the apparent shift x. This has a formula. What is that formula? X is m square delta u, m square delta u. What is delta u? Delta u is this 1 centimeter initial value. M square means 2 square. So, it will be 2 square into 1. Okay, 1 is this one, that is 4. Okay. So, this is the formula that you need to remember. So, 4 is the, so x is 4, height is also 4. So, from triangle we can write tan theta equals to 4 by 4, that is 1. So, from here theta equals to 45 degrees. Now, as I said, the angle will be negative. So, minus 45 degree is the answer. Now, if you do not want to use the formula, then what you have to do? If you do not want to use this formula, then slightly complicated method, slightly longer method, that this distance is 30 centimeter. So, what is this distance? So, this distance will be 29 centimeter. Again, you have to use the same formula, calculate V and find the difference between this V and the second V. That will give you the x value. And if you use that method, the angle will not be exactly 45 degree, but it will be very close to 45 degree. And there will be, as I said, there will be a negative sign. Negative sign comes from the fact that image is inverted, real and inverted. From that fact you get the negative sign. Okay, that's it. You can use that method also, and you can let me know what answer you get. So you have to consider this this value as 29 centimeter, and then again use the same formula to calculate. Okay, f remains same, u value will be changed to 29, and then you have to calculate it. Okay, that is another method. Now next, if you have not subscribed to our channel, then definitely I wish you to subscribe to our channel, and I will be back with a new chapter, wave optics, very soon. Till then, bye.